you streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. um, you don't need.
Okay. Let's see. That's a lot better this time. Well, that's good. All right. Okay. Let's get the mic a little closer. Little showcase of students over at Artist Hub. A lot of great work this week, or this month. Let me get this out of the way. Make sure this is close. Make sure we're in the right conditions. Sorry if this is moving around. It's bothering. Sorry. Okay. All right. Let us see. So really dim. Huh. Okay. Anyways. Here we go. I got just. Ooh. There we go. Oof, that's a think fast chuckle nuts. Okay, so I'm not blinded. Okay, so what are we doing today? First, we're just gonna be peeling an orange. The nice crisp sound of an orange. Okay, so no, all actuality, what are we doing today? So over at Artist Hub, at least my free community section, usually where I host like bi-weekly challenges. Link in the description to see all of my communities. This is a section where I usually give feedback to the 3 winners, or the 3 people who, I think, really excelled at, taking it to finish, right? And like pushing themselves to, strive for excellence, right? And usually I pick these based off like, a couple facets. Like, one, did you actually look to finish it, right? Like, there's sometimes I see work in progress, which is fine, right? Even students who don't have like strong technical skills or whatever, I still look to build up because they took the time out of their lives to do this challenge and see it to its fullest. So that's what we have here, right? So to shout out some of the community members that joined us this time around, right? So we have let's see, first let me refresh the page. So we got Shaker, right, who did the Birdman, which the face of the bird, really awesome, great job, man. Bart came in with the fighter, loved the explorations. And then we have Philip, who came in with this like demon bird guy. So, phenomenal job. Philip always comes in does these challenges and always comes in clutch with them. So yeah, everybody here did a fantastic job, and we're just gonna give over some thoughts and paint overs and kind of go from there. So you guys don't hear that. During the live stream, if you have any questions and want to ask, feel free to, and I will, go from there. So we'll just start off with Shaker, because I think his stands out pretty strong. And he essentially, a lot of the times with these challenges, he's the one that went the most direct with the reference, and I like appreciate that in the sense that it's like, damn, I wasn't like, I was thinking about this. Like when I sometimes pick the reference, I try to create a less biased kind of view of what the intent of the reference is supposed to entail, right? But this is almost like, you took some direct elements of the reference, combined them together, and created like a archetype that's very appealing, right? So yeah, I think this is a very, very strong character. I think with the other two, for example, over here with Bart, he took the stone as a like pretty direct reference, right? He focused more on the stone, and then I think Philip over here also took some direct reference from the stone, but he was a little bit more kind of abstract with the bird elements, and the plant that we used, right? So, but this one's more direct with like everything. So, all of them have their strong strengths, and I will be going into that, as we're drawing, right? So, let's get into it. So here we look at Shaker's design. So, the one thing about this design, I honestly think, is more of a technical approach, where you have a lot of like elements that really, like design wise, this is a like really genius character, right? But in the sense that we could push a lot of those elements. Like yesterday, I was talking about pushing. Like when somebody talks about pushing, right? They talk about accentuating, or like the shape that is proposed is like almost grandized or made bigger, right? In a way that makes sense, right? So we're lifting up this character, right? So in this particular case, like if we look at the reference that we had here for the last challenge, and I hope I put it in announcements, because if it's not, oh yeah, it is. Sweet. So here, like with the bird and the plant and the rock, right? So we got the colors of the rock, like to easily identify like what is being used on each character, right? So we got the elements of the rock more suited to the color. Same thing goes with this, like this bird follows the color as well, and the plant, which has like more of a darker tone, right? So in this particular case, we could find opportunities to also, let me put this to the side, right? In this particular case, we could find opportunities where we could push the chest, right, outward, and get some of that flow of the rock. Because I'm assuming this comes from like the rock, this like chest piece. So maybe we can think about how this particular chest piece flows, right? So maybe it spans out like over here. If we think about like how, you know, this kind of, because the rocks themselves, if we look at the rocks, pull it over here, they have this like flow to them, right? They're like pushing upwards, right? That's what they're doing. So that's what we want to kind of communicate. Now let me zoom in, because we're going to be focusing mainly on this part, right? So we're going to zoom in. We're going to see a little bit more directly of what I'm actually doing. So yeah, so we're going to take some of those elements and we're going to maybe subtly push them outwards. Right? Now, granted, we don't need to, what do you call it? We don't need to directly, you know, do every single fold and rock, but we could get some opportunities where it's a lot more bigger, right? Granted, you know, pushed. And then we notice that, like, for the rock, they kind of sit on the side, right? And this could also be an opportunity where, say this is like the rock goes over here, and even right here, it's like we have the stones, right? You know, maybe we're uplifting this stone as well, right? Because this is, if we look at how you have the stones, right? Even right here, we could uplift the stones right there, right? So, you know, just keep that in mind, right? And so I'm going to just darken this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to increase this back, actually. So we're just going to remove. Now the reason why I push this the most, you know, if we get the like jewel right here and the jewel right here, is so we could tie in some elements of certain things, right? Because the bird has like relatively like pretty big chest, so we want to kind of space out some of these like rock elements, because the rocks that you had currently, not that they were executed wrong or done in a wrong way, but they are like not as, you know, thin as you like made them out to be, right? So I just wanted to give some of his chest area some breathing room, and then, you know, kind of mix in some of those, you know, pearl elements that you kind of have, you know, kind of mix and matching the birds, like this part, right? It's like neck, chest area, but I didn't want to add it to the neck because then that would be kind of weird. So yeah, that's for the chest area. We can add some like highlights, some, you know, displacement elements. Right. Let me tone back to the rock. Well, this is more of a desaturated gray that this rock had. And then maybe like right here. And then there's some like gold rimming some of these edges have. Yeah, just creating you know, tie-ins. So I'm just gonna leave it gray. Feels like it's a little too out of place. To kind of play it up here. Yeah. So maybe opportunities there. Again, we can always go back and forth on maybe right here. The silhouette was fine. Bring some of that elements that you had back. But yeah, just having like more of a geode body type, kind of just thinking about it. Again, you could take this if you will. Okay, so right here, another thing that I noticed was how this wraps, right? And so if we get, you know, some elements right here. Granted, this is gonna then we get this right here. We try to match the form of the body. We can clearly see where we can go from there. All right, I think one thing about this character is they're very organized. So I think even the chest part might be a little too much in terms of like one-to-one direct replication of what I was talking about. So maybe we could just still have the same area of, you know, kind of control for the design. So if we assume that this is right here, right there. Maybe some like threading, maybe question mark. Only thing about like the threading part is what's in this centerpiece, because you have this cloth right here. I'm not sure if there's a thought about the cloth. Let me get closer. So I'm trying to see it from an outside perspective. So I think where I struggled, or where I didn't depict properly the character, so maybe some breathing room, right? Maybe we have like a chest. Let's get some breathing room for the character. Maybe it's like a tie, right? Could be like geode kind of breaking in. The opportunities right there. One thing though is the alignment. So like the perspective is probably what I'm going to be changing a lot. So it's just pushing it more over here so we get proper alignment with the body. Yeah, see how aligning the chest with everything else is slowly bringing it together. But yeah, so we have that, and then let me take this cloth, although it forms really nicely, because the alignment is kind of falling a little short. We're just gonna bring this back over here. There we go. Wait, actually, no. Yeah, there we go. And this can get pulled over here. So we're realigning the character, right? So let me actually, you know what? So I think the realignment assessment's right, but let me remove this because I think maybe this is the direction. So we have a flow here, Yeah, you know what? You were right the first time. But it did need to be pushed in some sense, right? I think, yeah, like right here. It's okay to admit that maybe you had it right the first time. Let's just make sure that, you know, kind of aligns. We have showing of, oh, hey, like this branches out. Because that's the whole point of these feedbacks, is to make sure that this, I don't want to let some of the, you know, if something I do doesn't work, I don't want it to not like let you sit with it and be like, oh, there's just a way, when clearly it's not. Go. All right. Cool. I think the face is awesome. Don't need to compliment on that or do anything with that. Do this, and like your character has a lot of triangles, so we'll just do that. Folds are pretty good, honestly. Hands, great. This, awesome. Here's some more bold occlusion shadows. Like just to make your character's silhouette stand out. Speaking of silhouette, when you're doing rim light, one thing I would suggest is like to really commit to it. So if you have something like this, like make sure like the light gets on top of it. Like the only reason why you should be thinning out is if you're making a conscious decision to like create diverse like variety within your occlusion shadow or your rim lights, right? But you know, don't be afraid to thicken this out to make it seem like, yeah, there's like hell light shining and brimming on him or her, they, them. fun thing I like to do is, you know, when there's like brimming of light, you could add like little flakes of bouncing particles, right? Sometimes you'll get that with like really, really harsh lights. Is there just a bounce of like particles, like dust, either dust particles or just, yeah, like within like air, something like that. The beak, and that could be a big, you don't have to go super crazy on this, but yeah, just making sure that it's not all too thin. This side could be a little thin. This would be covered in, like, if we're assuming the rim light is in the back, this would be covered. There would be no showing of that. Let's see. Merge layers, duplicate. And we're gonna do multiply. Uh-oh. And then I think one thing, can lower the opacity here. One thing is just making sure that your character has like a nice focal point in terms of, you know, direction. So it's like, where do you want us to look, right? And you can branch from there, right? You can get more nuanced. So like this area. Maybe this area. Shit. Right. Maybe like some part of the hand kind of creeps out. But yeah, maybe some part of the fold right here creeps out. Maybe right here kind of peeks out a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And then like the hand. Like that. Okay. So we just have elements, see? We just have focal points of where our eye can kind of lead. Again, you don't have to like go super crazy in terms of like really dark, but just enough for the viewer to really, if we zoom out here, zoom right here for those. So this is like, your eye focuses on one specific direction, right? There we go. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. A lot of it's just like maybe some, I think design wise, it's pretty solid. I like it. And then you just need to like wrap your forms a little bit better, maybe add some elements to really tie in that bird outside of like the head, which is already like pretty prevalent. And then some like lighting stuff, like just your rendering in general could use a little bit more of a kick, more of a push. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, like in terms of rendering, I just mean like values and like lighting and just making sure your character like reads more. But other than that, I think you did an awesome job, dude. So that is Shaker. Cool, Bart. Awesome job, man. So here, things that I like: your character's face. Great job on the face. And then his body type, I think is awesome. Scratch marks here, I think could use some work. I think a lot of this is just like, you have a great start and now we just need a push, right? But this is like more design pushing in terms of we could talk about body types and like weapon and all that stuff, right? Feel like this character is playing it just a tad bit safe, but other than that, you're on the right track. Let me just get rid of all this. There's gonna be a lot of fluff around him, but yeah. Okay, so this is personal taste. If you do so decide to go down this route, let me. In terms of his head, if he's like a big guy, and I'm just gonna make the bold assumption that this guy is like, if an average person is around him, like let's say 5'8", 5'6", 5'8", I don't know, something like that. Maybe even like 5'4". Like they're not like all that like bigger to this guy. Like this guy's a really big guy, right? So we could give him like the Overwatch or like Blizzard way of making big characters where their like head is really tiny, because they got all this like muscle mass, right? That's how we could like push him a bit. Here, his weapon. So I'm assuming it's like a punching weapon, right? So I was thinking about making it like just bigger, like that. However, I am going to make it bigger, but if anything, I would either add 2 or just make this a gauntlet of some sort, right? So if it's like that, maybe with the same bronze, I'm assuming, material, right? Let's get some. Let's get some of that in here. Like bronze, metal. We can even take some of the inspiration from the ring, because that's what it looks like. This guy looks like he's taking that much inspiration from the ring. We can take the jewels. Actually, it's more of a red jewel, but it's kind of smack one right here. Take the inspiration of the jewels, kind of coat it, right? And then we can from there really sell this guy. Right. Get some of those like gold elements that I was doing last time. Yeah, so maybe actually this guy has like more manufactured stuff, so I don't think it would be like as directly one-to-one, but maybe we could do this. We could have like the inside of his arm. Inside of his arm be more like that, right? We can have here. Go from there. Boom. So he has like a big gauntlet that maybe can like hold this. And then from here, we could take some of like, maybe just like sharpen these. Let's just get rid of this. He sharpened some of these blades, right? So it's like this. Right. And he's got fur. So we could add fur, so it's like it's comfy to wear to some degree. Use like decorations, some fur patterns. But one thing we want to do is make sure that when he has like a prop or a weapon, like that in and of itself is a character where you could do a whole lot with, right? I'm not sure how this particularly connects, but we are going to help you solve that. So in this particular case, I would just bring down his like shoulder pad satchel down here. And if anything, we technically could have something like right here, like his a shoulder pad, but I don't think this particular shoulder pad is doing you any justice because for one, I don't know what the material is, and like viewing it from like in like either art director or like 3D modeler, I would be very lost when designing this character for a game of like what that material is. So we're going to get rid of that. However, we're still going to keep your idea of there being two shoulder pads, right? So we're just going to roughly kind of block in his, you know, stature, right? So in this particular case, we could take the same material. Actually, we're going to bring it down over here. Let's see. So we could have this. And then maybe we have some more of that fur kind of encroaching idea. We could just go from there. Right? Maybe it's like brown. Right? So here, now we have like a little bit more of like if this guy was going to a leather worker or like a, you know, blacksmith or whoever, like craftsman, it looks like it comes from the same material farm. So let's, there we go. Right. So we just want to make sure we have consistency in our design. So yeah, now we have a lot more stuff to bounce off of. Here, you just bounce off like this and just do this. Right? So yeah. Maybe this, do this, right? Bunch of fur, similar to right here. So one thing about design, right, is if you have something like at the bottom, you want to match it with the top. Vice versa, if you have something at the top, you want to match it at the bottom. So, for example, you have gold and you stopped like midway through. If anything, if you don't even have to go crazy with it, but if you had like maybe like a yellow like shine at the edge of a shoe, or maybe there's like a plate, or maybe it's like a buckle, right? He has like a buckle like that, right? Something that insinuates that, oh yeah, like everything about his design connects relatively, right? So let me increase the size of this guy so you guys can see. So yeah, we want to make sure our designs are consistent, right? If they are not consistent, then what ends up happening is the project kind of gets lost and muddied in the vision because nothing is repeatable. And then, you know, people just don't vibe with it, right? So here, I'm just gonna, you know, if we have this kind of bottom section that also had the fur, then we can have like shadows in the back. Make sure it like breaks up the dynamic. Right? Yeah, we'll just do that. Yeah, give it some shadows. There we go. So yeah, now we have like a fighter. We have a guy that's gonna go in there and kick some ass, chew some bubble gum. And then yeah, I'm blocking this in with like very loose shapes. You could get as crazy as you want with the implementation. But yeah, just keeping it very straightforward for you. Yeah. Cool. Then, of course, there'd be like textures of Ruby shapes that you could add and have fun with. But currently, right now, I think the biggest thing that we focus on for you is basically just pushing a lot of like the elements that you have to make this character really stand out. Yo, what's up, Cole? But yeah, that's it pretty much for him. Again, great job, Bart, on this guy. And then, of course, the PSDs will be available on Masterclass. And then from here, Philip. So, great job on this, man. I think you did a lot of really cool elements of like creating this flow of this guy's like neck and his wings. So great job on that, dude. I think so. So what can we do here? Let's see. Because what I like to do is, you know, of course, having notes in the beginning is great. However, you know, the challenge a lot of the times when designing characters is just like kind of solving so we can get the best possible outcome, right? In this character's particular case, I feel like in the side profile you have like more stronger execution of like lines than or like execution of pushing your shapes than you do kind of here, right? Like in one case, we could say, what's up, Bingus? In one case, we could say that this would be a little bit bigger. And then we could kind of erase like some of the elements. And then we could have this like stick out more. So we could get like right here. Pull this out even more. And then kind of go from there. Right, and then this kind of pans out over here, which we will get this over here. And then, yeah. Like, just, like, making things, like, bigger. We're pushing shapes, right? Because you have that here, but then we kind of lost that momentum going into here. I think you played it a tad bit safe. So let's keep pushing. All right. So we're gonna, if anything, we're talking about pushing. This is more of a suggestion. I think like if you just did that, that would be fine for their design. But I'm kind of curious if we took this part, we just chunked it up even more, right? Like what can we get out of this? Right? Oh. Yeah, that's another thing is some of these parts feel just a tad bit even. So we're gonna push this slightly more. There we go. We're gonna, let me, and then this right here, because this would be forward. Do this, bring it back, and then from here, and kind of go from there, right? And then maybe for like, yeah, like I said, he's like back. I don't know, could be a fun little like beetle thing. Like I've never seen a beetle dragon inspired kind of design where it's maybe a spine kind of peers out. So we have this nice negative space. Keeps them sharp. And it's like spine. Right. Actually, let me get even more direct with that. Right. So, I mean, I pushed it to the 10th degree, right? You could tone it back just a tad. I do like the energy, though, of it, but just tone it back just ever so slightly. Get some repeating elements back there. And then smudge that down. This guy's got horns. We could have the opportunity to keep them small. But I think we should push them to be even a little bit bigger. So like right here. Just copy, paste. Make this a little bit bigger. All right. Let's get rid of this. All right. Arrange layers. There you go. See? So yeah, we're just pushing. A lot of your stuff is just like really just pushing, making sure we're getting this epic dragon guy to be to his fullest potential. Hell yeah. Right. Anything else? So, I think one thing I'm starting to notice, and this, I don't know how much we can solve for this. But maybe you could do a little bit more. Is right now, if we think about flow, so flow is a sense of like, you know, start and stop, right? We need to have that point where it stops, right? So maybe like something could be like a crazy like circle or fiery spear of like energy or magic, where it's like we have this guy, right? And it's like, whoa. And so what we could do is, I think I got it. So we have this like magic source of energy, right? And then you just like do this. Or create this ball, this influx energy, just keep swirling. And so what this is going to do, and this is like a temporary solution, so I would like to see how you tackle this in the future. But basically what's going on with your whole piece is all of your character is composition is doing like is doing this. So it's basically just transferring over like this, right? Every single element, like whether you're thinking about it or not, like look at the arm, you know, it triangulates like this. I mean, if anything, I would make the shell do that as well, just like get like more of this going on, and maybe we could have like the spine showing, but like everything is pointing in this direction. You have like so much energy that does this, right? However, you want some part of them, or even this tail. This tail does this, right? If you just panned it more over there, you would just do that, right? However, with all of this coming here, like this is your stop zone. Your previous ideation, or before I did the paint over, had nothing there. So it was just go. And everybody would look in that direction, but not stick with it. Like they would just keep going in that direction when this guy's the main point, right? Like his face. So what I ended up doing is I created a swirl of magic. You could be like anything if you wanted to add like a signia or something. But I added a swirl of magic, And it basically, this is the stopping point. This is where everybody's gonna look, right? Even when it like, you know, kind of does this, right? It like spirals over there, right? Even the horns are doing that, right? However, this one spiral, because it's giving you all this attention, everything that you did gives it that much attention. This one spiral coming back here gives attention to the face, right? It's the only thing that gives attention to the face. And then it's going to make the face that much more important, right? So that's my suggestion to you is find a way to tie it all together of bringing those elements back, right? So your character feels like it has greater significance to the flow, right? So even so, I kind of did this, right? Where we're tying all that flow back together, right? And we could say this is his back and it's like sticking out and it's like riddled with like occlusion shadows or whatever. But, you know, this is like, this is what we want to see is like all the energy. You can get even more direct. I mean, it does curve, so I can only get so direct. But yeah. Let's not create tangents. All this energy is going there. So just keep that in mind with your design is its composition is pointing all to there. So you just need to find opportunities to bring it back, right? And so, yeah, I think that's all the feedback I have for you on this challenge. If you want to dive deeper, there's also, 7-day free trial. There's masterclass where you could like get more direct feedback that I could give you like a lot more consistently. Same goes for everybody else. Shaker's already in there, so if you wanted more direct feedback on his character, like he wants to push it to a portfolio project, he can always do that. We could set up a meeting. But as for Bart and Philip, you guys are on the right path. So, yeah. A little bit of tectonic plates that he has going on. Just kind of yeah. This you could probably even get crazier. Maybe like a bigger stomach. Maybe? Nah. Yeah. Just trying things out. This is, I think I'm pretty much in the clear for that. But yeah, that's the hour. Yeah, for everybody who got feedback, PSDs will be in masterclass. And yeah, you guys did a phenomenal job. Cool. Awesome. So I'm gonna save this for later. I'm gonna put this guy as in challenge feedback. And then now I'm just gonna go into just design thinking, design breakdowns. So where is, okay, cool. design stuff. So yeah, I think this time around, I actually want to have some fun. I'm just gonna draw some silhouettes, come up with something, and then I'm gonna challenge myself to figure out what that is, right? We're gonna do like no erasing. So, you know, when we feel like we're at a good spot and we're done, then we are done. Oh, shit. Okay, you know, messed up. Force of habit. We just brought it back. Okay. Okay. Okay, we got something. Uh-oh. All right. What can I actually salvage from this? Maybe this was a bird? Maybe we have some all right. We have a silhouette. Now what we're gonna do with this, I have no clue, but we're just gonna tackle it. I might change the posing and stuff like that, but the silhouette still remains the same. So I do know that these guys have really baggy pants. It's just like stretched down here. Just gonna assume that. Gonna do this. We got some fashion forward pants. Maybe it's like, I don't know, a knight? Why is he shirtless? I have no idea. We're gonna figure that out because his whatever he's got going on with his body is going to be a tough pickle to handle. hodgepodge of technological bits. For those who are just coming in, I challenge myself to create a silhouette without erasing. And whatever comes out of it is what I will tackle. And I did not think of like anything, and I think that might have like bit me in the butt, because right now I'm just kind of designing as we speak. So so the only like one rule is of the challenge was that I don't, when I'm creating the silhouette, I don't backspace or erase. Anything forward after that, like for example, you know, I can add to the silhouette. I'm gonna challenge myself not to, but if it may need be, then it would ever be so slight. So this would be, I would imagine, like a cloth in the back of his like outfit. I don't know. Do know this guy is a like rust bucket. He is not of coordination. I guess you could say he's not a coordinated dude. And I did say, or I did add this. It's like bird creature. Can take the idea of the bird that was done for the challenge, which was like all poofy, if I remember correctly, and it had like long ears. You push neck element, push the body. There's the beak. This is when you are yeah. So we go, and then we create the other side of the wing, and then here we create like this bottom part. Go. From here, you're gonna have maybe maybe the crow puts his like leg on top of him. Actually, how do I do this? How do I, maybe like that? Hold up. Probably like that. Like kicks him. He's got no respect for him. And then maybe this bird's tail kind of feathers out over here. Can create like a silhouette read. All right, so now we got to deal with the other arm. We are We're schmoovin'. Yeah, Bob Ross in it, dude. I kid you not. That'd be funny if, like, Bob Ross was, like, during our time, as of, like, current right now. And he, what do you call it? He, like, created little challenges, but, like, that were just insane. Like, he just, like, got a chunk of paint and just, like, threw it on the canvas. And he's like, all right, let's see what we could do from here. Felt like, at least when I watched Bob Ross, he had, like, a very formulaic way of doing things. He'd, like, you know, set up the canvas of, like, whatever the lighting was going to be, and then, like, painted some mountain or water or ocean in a very, like, repeatable, formulaic way to educate people. But if he had, like, the YouTubers kind of mindset where he's just like, today's challenge is going to be, you know, I throw 20,000 pounds of paint to see what I can make, or whatever. Right, so I'm just gonna create, like, I'm assuming this guy has a claw. He's very limited in his movement, but he has a claw. There we go. He's got abs. And I think that's it. You can add, like, little decals and, like, dirt. But, yeah. Created this Rust Bucket guy. Comes from the post-apocalyptic wasteland, and he's just a juggernaut of a dude, right? Ironically, wears very fashionable pants, which is probably, like, the one thing people, like, tease him about. And was like, hey, dude, it's like, where'd you get your pants from? Post-war Ross or whatever. And he's got his bird. His bird will teach him a lesson. But yeah, that was actually really fun. I enjoyed that. Just creating a random silhouette off of something. We could try another one for fun. Little fun game. All right. This time let's actually create a body. Actually, oh shit. My bad. Oh. Actually, let's remove my hand from the keys. I just have it on my keyboard. There you go. And let's give her some boots. Maybe a mohawk. I guess, you know what? We're committing. That is the funny thing, is I might make one mistake and that is what I'm left with. All right. Let's put some chords, or at least pretend like there's chords. And I think that's it. I mean, all right, we got a design. All right, what are we doing here? Oh, let's just assume that her rib cage is kind of like right about here. So her collarbone would be right about here. Thankfully, I followed the anatomy relatively okay. So we can kind of just branch from here. There we go. Actually, there we go. Character looks like she's looking at like nothing in the abyss. Here she's got a scar. She's also from the Badlands. Post-apocalyptic world where she just be doing stuff. All right. So let's give her a funny backstory. All right. So she's a character that some people call Bad Luck Betty. Right? Why is she called Bad Luck Betty? Because she has maybe she was born, relatively speaking. No, I take that back. Not born. Throughout her life, she has relatively lived in a very crime-ridden society, right? And so a couple things that happens, maybe like in this society, there's like gladiator fights that she attends. And for some reason, she just, unfortunately, lost both of her arms and legs and survived. Usually, that would kill off somebody, they would die in glory, and that would be like the end of it. But for her, she ended up surviving, and anytime she goes out in the arena with her new augments, which, through sponsorships and all that stuff have helped her out, they know her as Bad Luck Betty because she didn't take the fate of death, and she survived. But in this particular society, that they find that death is a honorable way to go. And so if you survive during the arena, you're like, it's almost like being rejected by the gods, right? Or the machine spirits or whoever is out there, right? So not only did that happen to her once, it happened to her twice. And she is not very happy about that. Actually, yeah, we're kind of just making up shapes right now. Let's just copy what we see right here and see what we can do. So here, there we go. And she's got like an exoskeleton rig in the back. But yeah, that's why she's got her robot arms. And they're not like robot arms aren't an uncommon thing. Like, it's not that she got robot arms that people call her Bad Luck Betty. It's the fact that she went into the arena, and usually a lot of times it's either you win, which is like great. You get like money and you get to like, live another day and like in a way that's like more victorious, right? Or you die. Like, that's usually the two options. But she didn't end up doing both of those things, right? So she didn't win, nor did she die. So they gave her scraps. Like, that's why they look a little goofy. It's because like they're not, if like, let's say a winner of like this arena came back and they're like, oh, I want you to augment my arms so I'm like this badass and so I can win more. Like, they'll place their bets more on them and they'll give them their best equipment. However, in her case, she's kind of getting these like pity arms, right? It's like, oh, well, you got your arm like cut off, and it's like, you're a good fighter and it'd be great to see you in the arena, but we're not going to give you your best, right? Like, we're not going to give you our best. So you just got to work with what you have, right? So these are just goofy ass looking arms. And for those, kind of viewing, if you're ever like designing a character, I will always stand by challenging yourself to create your own like narrative, like with characters in your head, like just by yourself. So for example, when I'm thinking about, designing a character, a lot of the times I'm able to improvise drawing characters because in the moment I'm thinking of their story and like thinking about, oh, how can this be done and how can that be done and how does this tie into this and how does that tie into that, right? I mean, even with this character, she had some like weird ass going shapes, right? That would be hard to, without like some main character syndrome, ideas coming around, right? Would be hard to kind of sell. But with you creating your own narrative, like on the side of like, this is why she's like this, right? It's easier for people to kind of see your vision and go, oh, okay, I see, right? I get what you're going for. I don't know. Could be like a gear belt. Right? Just kind of like have fun with that. And maybe because she's called Bad Luck Betty, she has a robot eye. And she's not happy with it. She's been through a lot. So yeah. Word of advice when creating characters is just learn how to improvise. Learn how to improvise your own thoughts, your own characters on the fly, so that when you're presented, you know, the last thing, you know, an art director or somebody wants to hear is, I don't know, like, it was just kind of like, you know, just kind of there. That was just, you know, just kind of drawing what I saw on Pinterest or whatever. Because then that, you know, that doesn't bring engagement. And if you're like not engaged with the character, then like who is, right? So can give her like robot fingers. And this could be like a canister. It's like fire. There's like a warning label. Skull and bones. Deadly. And what we could do, because this branches out really nicely. Could have like a flamethrower. And then when she reaches out her arm, like her hand, like the gas from there pops up. And then you know, she can burn her enemies. Again, this is not the high-end quality scrap metal stuff that they usually give people. This is like the weaker kind of stuff, but she manages. She's still alive. I mean, after so many times. Maybe she's like a little old. She's been doing this for a while. She's not young. Yeah. Usually people who go against Bad Luck Betty, she's not like their first opponent. She's like usually in like the middle. She's like one of those like mid bosses, right? She's not like the high end echelon, but she's like there. She's like really recognizable. And a lot of people, a lot of times because they give her the name Bad Luck Betty, they like don't really take into an account like, oh, like she's actually a formidable fighter. That's why she keeps coming back, right? So yeah, just learn how to create characters on the fly. Or at least build that muscle, and that will really 10x your skills like crazy. As a designer, at least. Now, granted, like learning fundamentals and all that is really important, but that's what separates, you know, designers from somebody who might be like an illustrator, or not to say illustration doesn't have designs, but you know, we're problem solvers. We think a lot. We've got to make sure that these designs have some, you know, concrete weight to them, because then they go to everybody else and they're like, you have to be sold on the character, and then the like market has to be sold on the character. So branch this out over here. Actually, I imagine these be scissors. So let's do the opposite. Let's do this. Yeah, these are scissors. How am I gonna tackle? Maybe I just give her like comically big. Let's try to fill this out. I got it. Just like comically big feet or big shoes. Why? She has comically big shoes. These shoes in particular. Let's see. They're like weight holding shoes. Like they almost like you know how robots, when they are like people who engineer robots, they have the soft material over so you don't see the wiring and stuff. Her legs are probably like one of the things that get, you know, caught in the arena, where she like her leg just gets chopped off, and again she survives somehow and she comes back every single time, and so her reputation as Bad Luck Betty precedes her. So yeah, these are like robot legs. Maybe I could create a hollow kind of thing, so it actually intends to look like robot legs. Yeah, but this is like a plastic cover for like internal wiring and stuff, so they just look comically goofy. Again, they did not give her the best materials. And then I think here I'm just gonna add like the webbing. And here I'm gonna add kind of knee pads. Like scrap metal knee pads. There you go. It's like threaded together. Lives a humble life of a gladiator. Chains. Actually, no. That wouldn't make sense to have that there. Maybe big chains. Yeah. And I think that's it. Cool. And then I think that's it. I will call it early today. Just wanted to get the challenge, viewers out there. And then, yeah, kind of just call it from there. For all those who have showed up, thank you for showing up. I'll be streaming again tomorrow at the same time. So, yeah, catch you.